Hi. I keep like recording and I just keep just like jumbling or mumbling or I keep getting distracted and it's just very fucking annoying. But happy and blessed and beautiful Mercury Day. Oh my god. Holy guacamole. Like, it just shouldn't be this hard just to formulate what I want to formulate. Golly. But what I wanted to talk about, what I just keep fucking sharing is last night, yesterday, whatever the hell, right? I was just like on Instagram and I was removing people from my socials who I just really no longer wanted there. Um, because just like in general, like, it just becomes clear when some people are just there just to keep tabs on what you're doing. I'm getting distracted with the birds outside, yo. Because I see a bird in the tree and I can't tell what bird it is from here. I just can't. And I'm itching to pull up my binoculars, but pick up them binoculars, girl. I'm gonna go to the window and we're gonna have to start this bit all over again. And I just want to lock in. I just want to talk. Yeah, so I spent a good amount of time just removing some people from my space and whatnot. And you know what kind of motor or fueled me to do? I do this all the time. I always kind of like each and every couple of months, I'm always clearing out what no longer needs to be there. Um, Either be like on my socials or perhaps in my closet or in my head, whatever the fuck, right? That's very important. Decluttering is so important. But plus, it's spring coming up, right? But, I was thinking before I even got to that, like yesterday, I spent some time, I don't really know how I got into it, but I was just thinking about like how it's so interesting how a person's behavior, it's interesting how a person will treat you if they deem having you around is beneficial for them or if having you around isn't beneficial for them. And also, as well, too, it's interesting how a person treats you. Okay, so like what I was thinking is, it's just that, like, how tolerant people are of you when you're in a position that makes them feel better about themselves. That's what it is. That's what I was thinking about as well too, right? And the moment you start more or less triggering the pedestal that they've placed themselves on, it's so interesting. It's very interesting to see just like how the behavior more or less changes. That's a But yeah, it's a very interesting thing to me, and it became clear to me that there is just those on my social who are kind of operating in that manner, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? And before, I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I've always been a good friend. Like I can think of some friendships where I definitely like have mishandled it, but I've learned from it. You know what I mean? I'm a student and I'm here to learn and everything of this nature here. But it became clear to me that there are those who were just like I can, you know. So I just was like, you gotta go, right? It's important to just let things go. We have that beautiful death card here, right? And while I was like in the process of doing so as well too, I definitely noticed some people who have unfollowed me, right, and everything of this nature. And I'm not mad about that. Some of these people who have unfollowed me and everything of this nature are people that I went to school with, perhaps, or people who definitely come from like a religious background. And I can definitely understand why they might have unfollowed me. I'm pretty open about what I'm not a fan of, and one of the things I'm not a fan of is definitely being religion, right? And I'm pretty open about the stuff that I do, perhaps just like with my tarot, or I talk about my teachers, everything of this nature here. I'm not gonna hide any aspect of myself to make people feel much more comfortable. Fuck off, right? Fuck the fuck off, bitch. And some of them did fuck off, and I appreciate that. Um, but I was thinking to myself, it's just so interesting how the last straw for a person, for a Christian perhaps, might be seeing a person um, practicing witchcraft or something of this nature. It's so funny for me how that's the last straw, um, and that will push someone to, just like I said, remove them from their socials or whatever. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. If a person wants to be a Christian or follow some Abraham religion, by all means do it. The thing is that I'm just not a fan of the hypocrisy. I'm simply not a fan of the hypocrisy at all. You know, these are some of the people who I've removed, or some of the people who I've noticed who have like unfollowed me, are fornicators. You're not supposed to do that before you get fucking married. You know what I mean? And it's just that what boggles me is all the loopholes and all the back and forth that people will go through just to justify their own sins. But God forbid somebody, is, you know, does something else. Suddenly, oh, I gotta go. You gotta go. You know what I mean? It's the hypocrisy is that it is what I just really just don't understand, right? Like some of these people who have removed me or whatever, like I said, are fornicators. They take substances, you know what I mean? They don't keep the Sabbath. They definitely don't. You know what I mean? But why is it suddenly me posting tarot cards or whatever? Why is that the last straw? And like I said, I don't care or whatever, but I was just sitting and I was reflecting about it, and it's just very interesting to me. And as well too, like in the process of removing people, like, I said this on my Instagram last night that, it's really sometimes the people with the Bible verse in their bio, or perhaps the people with like a whole bunch of like evil eye emojis in their bio, are the people who are honestly the most hypocritical. You know what I mean? And I have, with this sigil around my neck and the things that I do, the things that I practice, it's important for me to hold myself accountable, and it's important for me to practice what I preach and what I say, right? Because I can't be opposing the hypocrisy of other people yet doing the same thing. So it's important for me to like live by what I know to be morally correct, true, everything of this nature, right? And that's just something that I strive towards each and every single day. Like I'm actually like it's important for me to put in the effort to live by what I know is, you know. So that's just something that's important for me, and it's like I said, it's something that I strive to do each and every single day, and to hold myself accountable. And it's just so interesting to me that when it comes to these people who claim to be Christians and everything of this nature, are the people who, like I said, find so many like loopholes and everything of this nature to justify why they can just go against what their Bible tells them to do, and they just do their own sinning. You know what I mean? And it simply isn't just enough to just to consciously do what the Bible goes against, and just to go pray about it when damn well you're gonna go ahead and do it again. How is that just? It's the hypocrisy is what I just cannot stand, right? To be honest with you, and I just don't like how I don't like how these Abraham religions just more or less, just like I said, feel like a prison. But that's what I was just thinking about as well too. Um, and like that as well to the part with like the people who have like a whole bunch of just like evil eyes in their bio or with every single thing that they post and everything of this nature, and it's just that like I just know some people who are like that, and to be honest with you, sometimes it's really just them, you know, or whatever. But yeah, this is just like all that's just like have been like on my mind as it was just like yesterday, just by removing people and whatnot. You know, and this is just really all that there's some more that I've been thinking about, but it's just that like it's just so interesting to me how people are quick to oppose something that another person might be doing, but fail to realize all the ways in which that they simply are just not in a place to be judging another person, right? um and I know, like, as well too, I speak a lot about the hypocrisy of the Christians, right, on my on any social that I have, really, right? And naturally, I've just noticed like a lot of people who I've known just kind of more or less peeling and peeling away, and I said that's fine. You know what I mean? Oh, girl, did you just see some danger fall out? I hope the fucking not. I mean, I don't really care. It is what it is. Girl. It's winter still. Whatever. But yeah, that's what I've been like really just like thinking about. So, but even just like apart from just like the Christians and whatnot, I've just been like noticing just like a lot of shifts in well, not a lot because I didn't really have much people on my page anyway or whatever. But I've just also too just been noticing just shifts in support from people who were much kinder and supportive of me when I was just when I my light was a little dim. Right, the brighter my light gets, the less people are really there. But it's fine. I don't mind. You know what I mean? Because if people, if having certain people around you means that you have to be dim and to, hide who you are, then those simply aren't people who are meant or need to be there. You know what I mean? And yeah, and I know that like, I know that for like some people who whatever who hear me talk about, like I talk about it a lot. Like just my I'm not a fan like I'm just simply not a fan of religions. I'm not a fan of Abraham religions at all. Right? And I know like I said in some videos, I've been told by some people, "Oh, you just don't really like it because it's just like your religious trauma, you know what I mean? You're just very traumatized from the religion and God isn't really like that. God really like loves you and everything's this nature." And firstly, sure, I definitely had a bad experience growing up in the name of religion, but ever since I was like a little kid anyway, like it's just never made sense to me in the sense of like this is such a controlling kind of thing. I don't understand what people are talking about. How it's not, it's bullshit. But even just like apart from that as well too, I'm yet to really meet a devout Christian. You know what I mean? But it's what really just it's just I'm not a fan of the hypocrisy. That's what I just cannot stand, and it's the moment I bring it up to people where they're falling short in their own religion, suddenly, oh, you hate Christians, this and that. I'm not a fan of the hypocrisy. Don't be going around spreading your word when you don't even abide by what you're preaching or what you're spreading or what you're sharing. But I also, like I said, I oppose these Abrahamic religions as well too because, like I said, it's so constricting, it's so confining, and that's just no way for a person to live at all, at fucking all. Like I'm very passionate about being authentic and being yourself and letting your light shine and being very vibrant. Okay, being your goddamn self. But there are just one too many aspects within these religions as well too that, like I said, diminish a person, and especially for women. Especially for women. In these religions, women are just, like, viewed just as a piece of property. You know what I mean? There's nothing liberating about having to cover yourself up or to cover up your hair or whatever the fuck for a man in the sky. You know what I mean? I brought this up to someone, not a friend, not even an acquaintance, but I brought this up to, um, and that's just like a thing in all the Abraham religions, not just like Islam. You know what I mean? But there's nothing liberating about having to cover up yourself just so that other men can control themselves or just to appease some motherfucker in the sky. What the fuck? I brought this up to someone that I know who comes from an Islamic background or whatever, and they immediately got defensive. But it's not that I'm trying to think or whatever. This is, like I said, this is in all Abrahamic religions. Okay? But, you know what I mean? Like, let's not pretend that there's nothing liberating about that. That's insanely controlling. It's one thing to be doing something for yourself, like actually doing it for yourself, but it's another to be claiming that you're doing it for yourself when damn well you know that you're you're doing certain things, you know, like I said, for perhaps a man in the sky, or not, or just the men in your religion or in your community, so that they can have more respect for you. Okay, I shouldn't have to just show. I shouldn't just have to. I shouldn't have to cover up my entire self. I shouldn't have to, be as pure as possible, right? All this fucking pure, oh, like I shouldn't have to be like untouched or all of that bullshit for a man to have respect for me. What the fuck is wrong with you? What the actual fuck is wrong with you, bitch? Okay. What? I shouldn't have to just act like a freaking blow up doll for a man to have respect for me. The fuck is wrong with you? Y'all do y'all not see how these religions be perpetuating these misogynistic behaviors and all that bullshit? The fuck? No. Fuck no. Fuck is wrong with you? It's bullshit. It's completely bullshit. That shit just like really, it just really pisses me off. It really, really pisses me off, right? Because I've been in religious schools since I was like a little girl, right up until high school. And, I've definitely seen how the the misogynistic, teachings of these religions are so ingrained into the girls and the guys from such a young age, and it's just that like this is so like ridiculous. This is so limiting to a person, and just like it just it's also just very annoying. But I think I'll end this here because I have to go feed my guinea pigs now, and I should probably have breakfast at 3:38. But I just kind of want to get something off my chest as to what's been going on like in my head. There's some more that's been going on like in my head in general. I'll get to that like later, but I just kind of wanted to share something. You know what I mean? Just wanted to share something as to what's been going on. I started off this video talking about just like Instagram and having people in my space or in my orbit who I don't want there, who are just there to just mind my business. I think it's funny how I ended off here just being really pissed off about how misogynistic these goddamn religions are, because they're fucking are. I'm tired of seeing women censor their entire lives around men. Nothing's wrong with wanting to have like there's nothing wrong with that shit. But what I'm saying is, it's so exhausting and it's so boring and it's a waste of time, molding yourself to be what perhaps your religion or society will tells you that the man wants. Right? You shouldn't have to mold yourself, or you just shouldn't have to be someone who you are not to attract a partner or to appease a man in the sky. It's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit.